PJ, you may kiss your bride.
A lot of couples, after deciding to tie the knot, or make things official as some say, cross the threshold into what is often labeled with a myriad of mixed emotions, our first apartment. Considering the fact that it wasn't just my apartment, I thought it would be fun to share with Melanie here.
We're gonna be talking about our first apartment today as a married couple, and we just wanted to give a brief disclaimer. We in no way want to harm the apartment complex's reputation.
We're not planning on sharing where this apartment is located or the name of it. This is all in good fun. Let's talk about the tap water in this apartment. It was often a pleasant shade of
orange,
and it was very intimidating when it came to having a desire to take a bath or really even shower. We never drank it because we were afraid we were gonna die, or at least get a stomachache.
We had multiple Brita filters.
Yeah, those little filtration jugs.
Multiple jugs for filtration.
And even then, like, I wouldn't say the water tasted great. It was definitely sketchy, to say the least.
Yeah, do you remember that swimming pool?
Yeah, we did have a swimming pool.
That piece of paradise on our property.
We only swam in it once, and most of the time it was apple green.
Yes.
And it was that way 90% of the year.
Yes.
I used to joke with my friends and coworkers that at our apartment complex, we didn't have water in our pool, we had Mountain Dew, because that's legit what it looked like.
Our apartment is off the ground, and I don't mean it's up on cinder blocks. No, we used to call it a tree house.
Yeah, we called it our tree house.
Because it was suspended in the air at least a solid, I would say, 12 feet. And there seemed to be a flooding problem.
Yeah, it flooded
in our unit.
It didn't flood when it rained. It would turn into a lake underneath us.
A lake underneath us.
The piping within the apartment itself would oftentimes explode or something.
Yes.
One time, it was the middle of the night. It was some ungodly hour, like 11 or midnight or something like that. And we were getting ready to go to bed. And I noticed in the bathroom, there was this water pooling around the wall next to the bathtub. And I was like, oh, this doesn't look good. And I remember putting my ear to the wall and I could hear running water. So I remember I went over to our neighbor's house and I knocked and no one answered. And then
not a great start, not a good sign.
So I was like kind of worried. I was worried. I'm like, what is going on? So I called the apartment maintenance line. They came into our apartment first and they were looking at it. And I was like, yeah, I think there's something going on in that apartment over there. They went in and I kind of poked my head in and the whole apartment was flooded. The entire thing had water everywhere. And they were walking on the carpet and it was literally like.
We had multiple times where our washing machine malfunctioned.
Major issues with the washing machine.
Malfunction. Never had that experience in my life.
Once again, it was a flooding situation where, we're running some clothes and all of a sudden water starts pouring out under the washing machine.
Like a gasket came loose.
Whoa,
And it was just like.
And I'm like, halt everything.
All over the place.
And I remember the maintenance guy came over, disconnected the water main, and I guess he didn't turn off the water or something, because water just started legit shooting out. And I'm not talking like a little sprinkle. I'm talking like a fire hose of water just in the middle of our apartment. So I'm like rushing to help. Melanie's grabbing towels in a bucket. And he's like, oh, I got it. I was like, oh.
I think I stood there dazed for probably at least 30 seconds. Like, what is this show going on in front of me right now?
It's a little surreal to see that much water shooting up in the middle of your apartment. What's crazy is, and this is where I'm like all proud of myself here, it still was leaking at the end of all this.
It wasn't completely fixed.
So I was like, I can fix it now. Like, I was like, I know what the problem is. I can go in and fix it. I'm feeling like my grandpa right now. I can do this.
Like a handy.
And I fixed it. I fixed it. It didn't flood anymore. And yeah,
I was so proud.
I felt pretty proud of myself on that one. The wildlife and critters that we had to interact with and deal with on a regular basis.
Oh.
We had so many animals in our walls. They would scratch on the underside of our bathtub. When you're just laying in bed and you hear that, it's a pretty terrifying thing to hear. The first time it happened, legitimately, I thought something was in our bathroom. I think I grabbed like a bat or something and I pulled the curtain and nothing's in there. And oh my gosh, man, that was not what I expected. I expected to see something and nothing's there. I'm
I'm gonna add to this because
I'm hearing
there
something.
was a hole I don't know if you remember.
Oh
this.
yeah,
There was
a
a hole by the tub, like
Yeah.
where you would normally have like sealant.
I don't know if you can relate to this, but every time I sat on the toilet,
I would stare at
that hole. And I always expected to see a little raccoon paw come out.
I really thought like I would see an eyeball or a little bit of fur.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of gray fur just like poking out. We tried,
tried.
to put like all kinds of like putty and all kinds of stuff there just to seal it up. But I mean, come on, if a raccoon wants to come through that,
Yeah.
he would.
They're coming through. And it's
No.
crazy because we knew one of our coworkers was actually living in the same complex a couple apartments away, and raccoons tore through the walls into their apartment.
Oh, I forgot about
and
that.
we're like, they were attacking their dog.
That's right. It busted. Okay, so
in the middle of the night. Just a raccoon broke through the wall.
I guess the raccoon got stuck in the
Yeah.
wall, and he was fighting for his life, obviously. Because he straight busted through their wall. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
But that was like insane. I would have,
Well, I think when we reflect back on our old apartment though, the kicker, the biggest thing was the constant presence of cockroaches.
we are not dirty people.
Yes, to clarify this, we're very
But
clean people.
In East Texas, you get them big, tall pine trees. We were in the
Oh,
middle
yeah.
of what is referred to as the piney woods.
Yeah.
Our apartments,
At the time we were living in it, there was so much overgrowth, and so
There,
like
yes.
you were very separated from the road, from the parking lot, and because of this, the tree branches and the overgrowth was just all up against the apartment.
Yes.
So it makes sense because of kind of where it was
because
located.
they live in the trees.
Yeah,
And
they would constantly get in our apartment.
they were slap up against our apartment,
And
things like that.
there was a week where I found 1 to 2 roaches every single day in our apartment. I remember I walked in and there was a big fat one. It was probably like that big, was crawling on the wall. I walked up to it and I was like looking at it. And then it jumped off and flew at me. Like it was gonna like fight me or something.
Fight you.
So I was like, heck no,
More
and just slapped it out of the, I just slapped it out of the air. Why don't you tell the lovely viewers about what happened one night? I gotta say, it was a month or two into our
We were
when we first got married.
we were very
It was very,
fresh.
very early on.
very fresh in our marriage.
Yeah.
So I was asleep and I felt something. And you know, there's this part of me, and you're gonna hate me for this, but there's this part of me that sometimes thinks when I feel a tickling sensation that it's like your leg hair.
That's fair enough.
So, and I mean, we're still getting used to each other. Like,
Yeah.
we're super fresh. So there's this part of me that's like, well, maybe it's just leg hair.
Yeah.
From my husband.
There is a possibility.
Okay.
There is a little bit of it
Because you're a manly man.
Rawr.
That ticklish feeling moved all the way up my body, and I was still half asleep, so I wasn't fully cognizant of what was taking place.
Yeah.
And then about time the tickle kind of got up to my neck, I was like, what is this? And then wouldn't you know it, a little tree roach came up on my face, and I slapped my face. I was just like, I have to get all traces of roach off me. I was in the shower and I could not go back to sleep. I didn't even get back in the bed that night.
Yeah.
I could not go back to sleep.
Yeah,
it was a nightmare.
What's crazy is I remember when we were dating, Melanie had specifically said that was something that she really feared.
Ooh.
It's
It
craziness.
still like gives you the willies. Yes.
Yeah.
Like shivers.
Man. But anyways, don't forget to subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. And we'll see you for the next one.
Bye.